take you through a masterclass on building scalable platforms for future. But before I get started with it, I just wanted to introduce myself. I am the co-founder and CTO at Bizongo. Bizongo is a B2B platform it's a B2B marketplace for enterprises. We actually help enterprises digitize their entire vendor management and supply chain for customized goods. And when I say customized goods, it's a very specific supply chain. It's a manufacturing first supply chain where everything is customized, built for a particular use case. So it's much more complex than anything which is branded and just out there. So that's what we do. We help enterprises in their digitization journey. We help them digitize their entire ecosystem of vendors, their supply chain, automate their supply chain, and build that efficiency in the ecosystem for them to really take their business to the next level. So, as during this journey of 6.5 years now, as Bizongo, we've gone through the journey of really looking at platforms and really building. We are ourselves on that journey of building platforms for future. Last 3 years, we changed our entire infrastructure to move towards this. So today, what I'm going to talk about is how do you really build a scalable platform, and how do you think about a platform? What really it means to say that we have a platform versus a product, and how does it give you that scale and agility? So yeah, hope this masterclass is useful for you, and I'll get started. So before we go anywhere else, this is one question that a lot of people ask, right? I have a product for a particular use case. I already have a platform. What does it mean to have a platform? What does it mean to have a software system? And what does it mean to have a platform? So by the very specific definition of a platform is a reusable set of components which can be used in different configurations to create new experiences. Now, this essentially means that if you have a platform, you have independent set of units which you can utilize to create experiences for your customers. When you think about business context and you build something in that context and it's very specific to that context, then you don't have a platform. You really have software, a code written to accomplish a use case, but that doesn't mean that it is a platform. What are characteristics of a platform? What does specifically having a platform mean? So you build that platform and you reuse it forever. And when I say forever, it means it has to be built agnostic of the current business context that you have. And then the combination of that and your business logic gets used to address your business needs in that context. It has to be externally programmable. What I mean by externally programmable is it must expose hooks, APIs in a way that anybody can utilize those hooks to configure experiences on top. And platform components are never ever aware of the business context which is getting built on top of them. So they themselves are very independent. They're built to really give that autonomy. And as a business user, you can build a business platform or product service on top of those platform units. It's very important to understand the difference between a platform and when you really build software. And as a company, right, when you get started, and as probably a startup who's starting out, the first thing that you want to do is validate your business. So people also ask a lot of times, should I build in a platformized way since I get started? My usual opinion there is that you should start by validating your market, build anything needed to prove your MVP and get that traction first. Then think about really platformizing your entire stack to build that agility in your execution. But a lot of people also ask, why should I even build a platform? But before we go there, just a little bit of deep dive of when you start building a platform, what do you think about? First thing you think about is, how do I separate my business logic from things which are very essential components which can be reused, right? So you create, I've shown 3 layers here. People sometimes build more layers as well, but there's a layer of platform services, smaller autonomous units, which in themselves provide very specific business capabilities. So you see the orange layer here. These are the set of units or services which will give an essential capability irrespective of the business context. And then on top of that platform is where you build your business apps. Those business apps is what your customers interact with Those are the business apps that deliver customer value to the customer and act as your front to your customers. Hosting infrastructure is just your infrastructure as a service, really building your container, your containers, your observability, logging, security, all of those services in a way that your platform service or your business product services can be hosted at a click of a button. But all the interactions between each of these units happen through APIs. Platform services, and this the context here is important. You need to think very hard about what is core business logic and what is your platform logic, right? If I have to draw circles, the center of your platform is the core business logic, which no matter what doesn't change, while on top of that you utilize all of those components to build value for your customers, and that value can keep on evolving. And as businesses today, experimentation is very important. If you're not able to do that, then it becomes very difficult. And that brings me to really the next topic of why do you really need a platform? Why can't you are running a business, you need speed. Initially, if you build a platform, it will take a lot of time. And do you even want to invest that time? Why can't I just build a product for what my customer needs and keep building those features for what the customer is asking? The topmost thing there is evolution. Today in the tech business, or in the world, actually forget tech business, I believe the world in itself is moving towards more and more digitization, more and more value for the customers through technology. The world is evolving very fast. There are change in processes, businesses change very fast. How do you react to this change? If you do not have a platform approach, no matter when the change comes, you will have to touch your code base, change a lot of things, really build from scratch, or if not build from scratch, change the stack that you're working on. And that leads to slowness. That needs to you having to react faster, react slower, need to really go back every time when you're doing things. Following a platform approach really helps you get away from that. It gives you a base for faster experimentation, helps you go to market really fast because you're using the building blocks to build the topmost things. Another thing that platform helps you do, ecosystems help you scale. Ecosystems really integration with your customers, your partners, your external partners, or integration with them help you scale faster. As a platform, if you build like a platform, it almost becomes trivial on how to integrate. Another thing a platform helps you maintain is uniformity of experience. Really across the customer endpoints. If you have the same units that you're using to deliver experiences to your customers, the experience will be consistent. The tech will be consistent for you because the stability, everything is being taken care of the platform. This is a chart which I like a lot. It's a managing your platforms stock chart. What it shows is initially when you start building point solutions, it's fast, but with time, the execution capacity starts tapering. You'll not be able to execute fast. But with a platform approach, platform-enabled organizations, your execution capacity with time really goes high. You can experiment really fast. You can do a lot of things really fast. And just taking an example from Bizongo's journey, right? 6.5 years back, we started as an organization which was building a platform to connect suppliers and customers through a chat system. So we were really just a chat platform where you could find suppliers, really connect with them, chat online, and then place your orders or do things there. But we quickly realized in 1.5 years that if we don't own the end-to-end experience and we don't really start delivering the material to the customers, we will not be able to give the value to our customers. So then we pivoted to becoming a marketplace. When I say a marketplace, a complete marketplace where just like you see consumer marketplaces, we became a marketplace for enterprises. But in another few years, we realized that as a marketplace, we're losing the ability to give one single face to an enterprise. Right? We're not being able to give them one place where they can buy everything. So we again pivoted and became a face to all the manufacturing that happens in India. Right? We became the platform where the customer can get everything, invoicing happens through us. But during all of this journey, if you notice, experiences for the customers are changing. The customer first wanted to chat, then they wanted to place the order and get fulfillment. Even when we changed from a marketplace model to a fulfillment model, the ordering experience, the invoice experience, the really experience of partner management, all of that remained the same, but the way we use them started changing. That's when we realized that we've had to rewrite a lot of things, and we really need a platform approach to scale fast. Since we have gone to a platformized approach, it has become really fast for us to experiment, because even tomorrow, if we want to change from, and we've gone from categories like packaging to now textiles, agri, a lot more categories, and this platform approach has helped us scale tremendously. Because even if I'm in a different category, the underlying units remain the same, and we're able to experiment on top of them, build new experiences for different set of customers, different personas very fast. And it, as you see the chart going up, that's the leverage that a platform approach really gives you. But when you're building we understood why we need a platform, right? And it can give you a lot of execution capabilities. But one question and one thought that I've seen come across a lot of people say as well, people sometimes call point solution as platforms, but there is also an argument that if I have a platform and I'm exposing my APIs to the external world, and I'm really just giving them a broad-based functionality through my APIs, then I have a platform. The argument there is you have a part of a platform. APIs are really the building blocks of platform, because when you're integrating or when you're interacting between two services or externally, APIs play a very large part. APIs are really the building blocks of a platform, but they do not ensure a platform architecture. And why is that the case? Because having a platform architecture is not just about APIs. It's actually about technology, process, and organizational structure, right? Platforms expose the entire organization's capability to the outside world. They don't just expose one logic, right? If you think about APIs, what's the definition of it? An API is simply exposing one functionality that you want somebody to use in a certain way to that customer, or anybody who's using your API. But the platform architecture in itself is much larger than that. It's not about one functionality. It's about giving a set of units which that person can combine and create new experiences from. So you're not giving one experience to that external person or world or entity. You're actually giving a set of as we said before, right? Externally be programmable set of units which they can combine to create new experiences. It's much more than that. The mindset needed to create a platform is an enablement mindset. When you build those blocks, you have to think about how am I enabling a person to use this without really knowing anything that is going under the hood. How do I make sure and that's what makes it scalable as well, right? We saw how we build scalable platforms that really makes it scalable. That enablement mindset, that mindset that I am giving a capability which I also don't know how the other person will utilize to build an experience completely new, which probably the platform guy did not think of. Right? That's the power that a platform can build for you. And towards the end of this talk, we will talk about how Bizongo's platform looks and what are the opportunities that we've had and how that has accelerated some of the work we do. We'll also talk about why platforms really need to be seen as products, or like platform services needs to be seen like products, even if they're being used just in time. But just to cap off what I was saying here, APIs are building blocks of the platform. They're not platforms themselves. It requires a much larger canvas for you to really go about giving that value. Another question, and I said this some time back, that platform architecture is not just about the technology. It is about technology, people, process. Right? So how do you build your teams around platform? Like how should you have one team which just takes care of platform and all other business teams utilize those and keep using them? Or do you have a responsibility of everybody in the org to really think about the platform and keep contributing to it? There are pros and cons to both approaches as technical leaders, but what we've seen is that if you have a platform team taking care of the platform alone, more and more it happens that the business teams stop thinking about how to contribute to the platform, and every piece of thing that can be added to the platform gets pushed to the platform team, and the backlog becomes too large for them to handle. They become overwhelmed. But what I feel that is needed as a culture in the entire team is an evolutionary mindset. Right? everybody who's using the flat platform should also think about how do I give back, right? You all use open source and we think about how do we give back to open source. Same way, platform should be thought about in a way that even when I'm building a feature, the first thing should be how do I give something back to the platform from what I'm building, and along with what am I using from the platform, right? Is there something, can I do it? Can I add more? Can it be better as a platform? And that's something that evolutionary mindset speaks about. Each one of the developers need to have that. Another thing that I said we will talk about is platform services needs to be treated like a product. They need to have long-lived teams. Those teams need to evolve evolve the service as a product in itself, that it's a product for the external world as well as your internal teams. And you need to build that service, make more feature additions, evolve it, make it better in a way that it can be utilized by anybody, even if you've not exposed it to external developers today, right? And we also believe that scale comes from exposing your platform to more and more entities. Like we definitely believe as a platform on Bizongo, the way we are going, in some time we will be able to expose our platform unit so that other people can create more experiences on top of that, which only helps your business scale more. But if you do not treat your platform service as a product today, you will not build the architecture in a way that it can really scale to that level. So treat it like a product, have long-lived teams, make those teams autonomous, accountable, trusted, independent. What do these words mean? Like huge words, but make them accountable for that service. They need accountable for uptime, then accountable for the for how the service behaves. They're accountable for the trust on the service, but at the same time, they build the roadmap for the service. So roadmap doesn't get defined by the business needs, right? It's not that if the business needs this, then I will add something to the platform. The business needs this, I will add something to the platform. To build it like a product, you will think about what else can my service do and scale it. When the business need come, those units will be able to utilize and scale better. So the agility becomes like 10x if you're really thinking about it in that way, right? If you're really looking at it in that segment. Yeah, before I go very deep into the Bizongo platform architecture as such, like I just want to, go back and reiterate some of the things that we said, right? What does a platform mean? Platform essentially means that it is a set of units which are independent, autonomous, can be used themselves without the business context. Right? So there has to be a layer of services that anybody can combine and create completely new experiences without having to think about it. Now I'll take Bizongo's example and show you. This is a high level architecture diagram. Obviously, I've not shown any interaction between the services or the modules, but just a high level architecture of how Bizongo's platform looks like today. We have three applications: Procure, Live, Partner Hub, Artwork Flow. And Artwork Flow is actually a sort of a new entrant, which we built using the services that we built. Right? Services like workflow, cataloging, we actually use these services to build Artwork Flow. And I'll define those in some time. What does Artwork Flow do? It's a product for you to run an approval workflow with your team in a collaborative way to approve a final packaging artwork, which will go and get printed with the printer. Now, if you think about this product, right, what does it need? It needs a workflow. It needs you to really run that entire experience with the customers. You need to get data, store it in a way which is hierarchical. How did our platform really help us to do this? We already had a workflow service, we had a service for cataloging, we had a service for user management, and we had a UI infra. What do I mean by UI infra? We do not build UI as such. We have a platform service which hosts all of our components for UI. Whenever we have to build a new app, we take all of those components, build the UI, connect it to some of the services that we're using, build business logic on top of it, and a new app is ready. You don't have to rewrite the UI every time. When your design team comes up with something that this experience needs to change, you have to change a list to a card or a card to a table. All of that becomes really easy and fast. You don't need to really think because that's already available in your platform service. Your cataloging as a service, right? If you think about it, every e-commerce company has cataloging as its core. But what do you utilize cataloging for? And how can you extract it in a way that it can get utilized by a lot of things? For us, cataloging is not about building a catalog. It's about a structure, which is a layered structure, categories. One category can have another category, can have another category. You can define the number of levels you want. Each one of the categories has specifications, which are nothing but forms, right? You can add a text field, you can add a drop down, you can add a radio box, any of these, and you can create a new structure in it. While this service gets used in our core uh, platform, Procure Live, and our core customers for cataloging, in Artwork Flow, it actually gets utilized to create configurable forms. So you create a category under it, and when you select the third category, you get a bunch of fields to fill. So all the forms in Artwork Flow become configurable. When we built the cataloging service, we really did not think about this use case. We did not think that we'd be able to use it in such a way. But we improved cataloging to be a service which is completely independent, completely as a product, evolving to give more specifications and a flexible structure for any service to utilize it. And that actually helped us at the when we launched Artwork Flow immensely. It really helped us give speed to our configurable form architecture. That's just one example, right? One more example I will pick up is, and as I said, UI Infra is another example which helped us create apps faster. We also have an internal app called GoOps. Like that app is entirely built on UI Infra. Whenever we need to change an experience, it just becomes very easy to move around UI components and just build them up. Another thing that I will touch upon, if you see the common platform services, there's a PDF extractor there. We built a PDF extractor to understand invoices. And I'll talk about the problem statement as well. We had a problem statement that our sellers would upload all their invoices on our platform, but we would find that sometimes they'll miss the smart paddle entity, Bizongo entity, or they would miss the GSTN number, they would write the GSTN number wrong or the HSN code wrong. What this would do is after the credit period ends and our team checks the invoice, their payments would go on hold, and that would create a problem for our sellers. The experience would go down, right? So we built a PDF extractor of sorts. It has a model as well, which understands what the components of an invoice are. They read that and they try to fix it as soon as the invoice gets uploaded. So when the invoice gets uploaded, you as a seller know that these are the things I did wrong and I need to re-upload. We built it just for invoice. We built a PDF extractor, but while we were building that service, we tried to add more and more to it. What we realized, today we use that same service for invoice, same service for PO. You also use that same service to understand our artworks. Right? When you go deeper into an artwork, you don't understand what is the Pantone shade, what is the new value that the platform is adding, what is the Pantone shade inside it, what is the font color inside it, how do you really see the artwork going to print from your procurement team. We are able to use the same service, and it created a lot of agility because otherwise we'll have to understand the artwork all over again. One more example is for our TAC models, right? Our models which define how much time does it take from one place to another. This model was first used in logistics service. Now it gets used in a lot of places to understand the transportation time between one point to the other points. It becomes really, really useful. Another thing that has helped us while we have platformized the entire platform is our integration layer. We have not exposed all of our components to the outside world yet, but we are on that journey. But exposing an integration layer has created a kind of a scenario where today we don't even need developers to really go integrate with something. The layer in itself, our product intelligence team or our product teams are able to utilize using no-code tools to just give that interface for the customer to integrate through email parsing as well as through ERP integrations. It becomes very scalable, build and follows that principle of build once and reuse forever. Gives that scale as well as that agility for the organization to move fast. So yeah, this has been sort of our overall journey on how the platform has evolved. Our applications are evolving continuously. We have the hosting layer, the common platform layer. We have our intelligence services, which sit on top of platform services, but those are sort of our platform services, but have business logic, so we keep them a little separate. Then we have all our product services from settlements, order management, quality management, production, auto replenishment, our entire supply chain, bidding, vendor onboarding, artwork spec management, all of those, and analytics and recommendation engine on top. This engine obviously utilizes the reporting service in the common platform services, and does analytics as well as recommendations, and we have our applications on top to really build them up. The inbuilt integrations or plugins is also another layer in itself, where we are building integrations to be built like a plugin, right? So if you're using digital signatures, right, you can either build one integration and say everybody uses this integration and I give my account to do it. Or what you can say is I will build these three integrations as plugins and you can enter your credentials and just use them on the platform when you need. Long term, obviously, these building blocks will enable us to build more and more apps at the application layer and really build it up from there and give that scalability and agility. So yeah, that's how the Bizongo platform is today. Obviously, we've evolved it the last couple of years to the stage we are at. And as I said before as well, building a platform is a journey. It's not a one-time effort. It is for you to, maintain that discipline, maintain that organizational structure, process, as well as technology. As far as the tech stacks are concerned, there are top two, three things to remember is always use something which you can get ecosystem help from, something which you can get talent for, something which will actually scale as your platform scales, and not something which is absolutely new and which you will not be able to scale with. But from an overall platform perspective, remember organization structure, process, as well as technology will help you build the overall platform story, give that agility to the organization, at the same time help you experiment much faster. But treat the platform as a product. Don't treat it as a back-end service that gives value to your customer-facing applications, but really a product that evolves. It will give you much larger canvas to play with as you scale your organization. So yeah, that was everything I had to share. Hope it was useful. Thank you very much.